Okay, and I am here with Mixed Media Mayhem using my Kit Conspiracy Kit. This is the layout that we will be lifting today by Memory Keep Art. She has an Instagram channel account that has just some fabulous layouts on there, you guys. So I was showing you guys the background that I already made, and that will be coming up. I made it as a practice piece, and then I decided I really liked it, so I didn't want to do it again. I'm also showing you guys a few of the elements that I picked out to use on this layout. I have two stencils. This one here is going to be used using paper glaze in Brown Dahlia. And then my other one is going to be this, I think it's Paper Rose, and it's going to be the opaque crackle paste by Ranger. I've already made my title, which is before and after, using the Simple Stories Color Vibe in Woods. They have gotten a lot of uses, you guys. And then this stamp set that I'm going to be using is this stamp set that I have no clue. And I'm going to be using the Altenew ink in Obsidian, and I had no idea it was that dusty. I am so sorry. All right, so here is how I created my background. It is alcohol paper or paper for alcohol ink, and I am just adding all of my alcohol inks as well as mixatives and, what's it called? Alcohol, like isopropyl alcohol, I think is how you say it. I don't have a clue, to get it to move and blend and do all this stuff. So the colors that I'm using are just the brown colors that I had available to me, like cinnamon and sand and rust. Those are the colors that I am using, and I absolutely love this, you guys. I love it. I only had a straw to blow around my pieces. I did not have any kind of puffer tool or anything like that. So that is what I'm using. And then once I am done blowing it around to get the color where I wanted it, I wanted to soften the edges ever so slightly. So I'm going back in with alcohol and just rubbing it around a little bit. Now the alcohol wasn't enough. I only have 70% alcohol. And it just wasn't enough. So I do end up adding some mixatives here and there to help me soften the lines. The mixative from Tim Holtz really does reactivate all of it, and it works beautifully. I absolutely loved playing on this paper and whatnot. Now I got my paper from Amazon, and it is called Nara, N-A-R-A, for alcohol inks. That's all it is. And then you just pick the size that you want to use, and you wait for it to show up. That's it. All right, so with the second bloom that I'm going to be doing, I loved this one way more than I loved the first one. Because like I said, I was playing. I'm not an alcohol ink person, like at all. So I actually had to work pretty hard at getting my second bloom to look like my first bloom, because I liked the second bloom a lot more. So just like watercolors, alcohol ink has a dry application and a wet application. Now, one of the things that I learned about this paper as well is that it does not take ink at all. So I applied my stamping. I was using this stamp in place of the word stamp that Memory Keep Art used on her layout. I was replacing it with this particular one, and it never dried, ever. I ended up having to wipe it off with my fingers later. In fact, I found that out when I was applying this stencil work right here, and I lifted it up, and I was double stamping on my layout. And I at first really liked how it turned out. Like, oh, look at that. That turned out pretty cool. Yeah. I had no clue I was double stamping until I went to go and wash my stencil and realized that all the ink was on the backside. Even when I went and did this portion of the stencil work, my ink was still on the backside of this stencil, and I was pulling it through, causing the white portions to turn gray. I did not know that, you guys, until I was trying to put the layout together and I kept sticking my finger in something wet. It took me forever. Now, when I made the mistake of taking a paper towel and a, what's it called? A rubber brayer, and trying to dry up or dab up my ink. Well, that disrupted all of this texture paste, allowing the texture paste to fall off the paper. So no matter what I did, I was just devastated. Like, how on earth are you supposed to do anything with this paper other than put the acrylic or the alcohol ink on it? I mean, I just didn't understand. So I'll have to do some more research, you guys. But it was very fun to play, and I loved the results. So here are my photos. They're photos of my husband's new service truck. And what he did was, the service truck comes with stickers already on it. Of course, they did the bed wrap for the company, but it also had the gross vehicle weight and I believe the DOT number. I can't remember if it was DOT number or MSHA number from the company or for the company. I don't really remember what stickers were on it before, but then his boss picked out or had printed out other stickers that he wanted on the truck instead. And so my husband decided, well, I'm going to move it and put it where I want it, because no two trucks for this company are identical, especially when they don't have the same amount of Peterbilts. They don't have the same year of Peterbilts. And some of them are Kenworths. So you really can't put stickers on the same when they're not all the same trucks, in all honesty. So he tested it on this particular side instead of on both sides to see if he liked it first. Well, you can't take it back if you don't like it, but he does like the fact that the cab and everything from the cab forward is completely clear. So he really did like it. Plus, he realized that one of the stickers was crooked when he was taking it off. So it was nice. It was a good change, and he's really happy with his truck, and he feels like everybody. Well, for one, the small town that we live in definitely is a truck town. So if you alter your truck, somebody's going to notice it. If you add something to your truck, which is altering, somebody's going to notice it. And it's going to be the coolest thing since sliced bread until the next coolest thing shows up. So he actually gets quite a bit of compliments, even though he did just a microscopic change. Nobody even would have noticed had we not been, in our small, tiny little town that we do live in, right? So anyways, I just thought I'd document it. It's just one of those fun layouts that I just get to play, you guys. It's not a meaningful layout. It's not a I need to tell a story layout. It's none of the above. It is just a fun layout that my husband was very proud of this truck. He's never had a brand new truck with 0 miles on it ever. So he has been doing what he wants with this truck. Because it's technically his. He lives in this truck 24/7, even though his boss is the one, the company is the one that owns it. It's technically his truck. And so he takes pride in his truck, and he's put a drop visor on it and some chromey something or another. He's got an additional tank for it, a fuel tank for it. So he's got all these plans, and he's super proud of the fact that he is the one and only owner so far of this truck. And and he keeps it clean. He keeps it up there. It definitely does not look like it lives on a mine site because it is so clean. And most of the trucks you could tell because they are dirty, nasty, yuck. So anyways, I thought I would add interest to the before photo because it is a little on the darker side. He took it first thing in the morning, and then it took him till about beginning of the afternoon to finish this, because he doesn't jump into things. My husband just likes to he likes to take his time and know that what he's doing, he doesn't want to have to redo, basically. And so with this truck, he was definitely taking his sweet little time, and every little move he made, he called me out there and, can you check to see if this looks okay? Can you check to see if this is straight? Can you check this? Can you check that? Because he wanted to make sure. So here's where I found out that my ink was never drying. So I took my finger and purposely smeared it. I smeared every single bit of it. And like I said, now my texture paste up at the top is all gone because I took some paper towels to the entire thing and a brayer, rubbed over it, and the texture paste did not stick. You should have seen the floor in my craft room. It was all glittered, and now I'm still blowing texture paste off of my layout. Fun times, that's all I have to say. So I'm adding a bunch of these leaves because he is outside with his truck. Well, he's not in the pictures at all, but I'm still adding some leaves to this layout because I felt like it called for it. I really did. I actually, plus because Memory Keep Art used some really cool leaves. And to be honest, I had those leaves to use, but I really wanted to continue playing with my Kit Conspiracy kit. And I had plenty of leaves in that collection that I did not. I had no business going and getting more supplies. None. I have a ton left over as well because this is my last layout using the Kit Conspiracy kit. I have a few pieces of paper left over, a few meaning 2.5. And then I also have a ton left over, but I also used a bunch too. So I can't really say that I have a ton left over because just the laser pieces alone was 111 pieces. So yeah, I can say that I had a bunch left over. But I don't feel like I have a bunch because I started out with 8 little bowls and only ended up with 4. So I feel like I put a dent in this collection. I really do. But brown and blue are one of my favorite colors. Brown, blue, and green are my favorite colors to scrapbook with. So I'm never going to complain about having too many brown things to play with. None whatsoever. I love them. So I'm just trying to finish off this corner piece before I move on to the upper piece. I definitely wanted to make sure that everything was perfect, you guys. I usually don't do this on my layouts, but for some reason, I was being really meticulous with this particular layout. I just wanted to make sure that all of those leaves were in the right spot. All of these, all of the pistons were in the right spot. I just wanted to make sure. Somewhere down the line, I do something. I can't remember. So I think I'm finally happy-ish with what I have for my bottom cluster. So I'm going to go and work on my upper cluster. And the first thing I'm going to do is add those film strips. I love those film strips, you guys. That is such a smart thing for 49 and Market to do. It was just awesome. I really did like that. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did down at the bottom. I'm going to add some leaves to flow down and also flow up flow out of my layout, going up and down. I still have not inked up any of my chipboard pieces that I plan on putting on this layout because, in all essence, I completely forgot about them. Yeah, they're sitting right there, and this is why I separate my supplies, you guys. Not going to lie. This is why I go through and I kind of sort out what I have. Then that way I would have remembered that I had all of the chipboard because apparently I can't see through acetate leaves. So I went ahead and I added 2 acetate leaves down at the bottom. And then I have a few that I want to tuck up at the top. And I've got another set of pistons that I'm going to sneak in there somewheres. I thought it was perfect. I was going to try to sneak in 3, but I really didn't like the third one. I didn't like where it was sitting. I couldn't get it to mesh well with the photos. I just don't like that third one. But I thought it was perfect because of the fact that this is it's a big truck. It really is. Not as big as the semis that you see driving around, but the cab is a semi cab. It's just a short bed, and has a toolbox on the back is the only difference between what you see off-road. Actually, I think it's lower to the ground as well. I don't think it sits up as high as the off on the road trucks that you see. So I also have a few of these leaves that came from the laser cut collection of the toast color that I thought was a perfect addition in front of all of these see-through leaves. I just thought it was perfect. They finished off the leaf clusters beautifully. So anyways, I lost my glue, so I'm looking for it. I couldn't find it, but it was in the wrong little, I have these little milk crates, and one of them holds my glue upside down for me, and that is where I put it, but it was in the wrong one. It was the next one over, and I wasn't looking there. It's not supposed to be there, so I don't know how it got there. All right, so off camera, I went and I sprayed all of my chipboard pieces, and now I am applying them in the layout where I felt like they were absolutely perfect. I love these round ones here, or the semi-round ones or half rounds, because it finished off that cluster down at the bottom beautifully. Even though it wasn't planned that way, I probably would not have, put it like that. But who knows? I love the way that it looks right now. And it's absolutely perfect. And then the other one makes a beautiful shelf. See how all that is my texture paste falling off my layout, you guys. I have no idea how I'm going to put this in an album without it falling to pieces or imprinting my page protector, because it's still not dry. Like, I have no idea. And it's been days, you guys, and it's still not dry. So I don't know. I heat set it, and when I heat set it, I have to tell you that I did curl the acetate. I started curling one piece, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So I purposely went and curled all the pieces. I really do like the dimension that it gives my leaves. Now, these last little bits that I'm putting on, I do not go over with the heat gun. I don't add that texture to this layout, but I do like what I've already done. And the reason why I didn't is because I was afraid that it would mess up the curl that I already had on the first acrylics that I had down, or acetates that I had down. So that is my reasoning on why I am not heat setting the other acetate pieces. But I do love the effect. I will be doing that effect again. I don't know why I have not. They just curled beautifully. I can't complain at all on how they curled. So anyways, I am going to go what is the name? I'm going to use these label pieces to put down my title, and it's just a super simple title. It just says before in the bottom photo, after in the front photo. Very, very subtle photos, you guys. It's you barely can tell that there's more words down on the bottom photo than there is in the upper photo. And it's just so subtle. And that's why I told my husband it's going to be perfect, because it is perfect. It's just a very subtle thing that you're asking. In all honesty, the gross vehicle weight does not need to be on this vehicle. So that was the first number that he took off. But they put like I said, I can't remember if it's the NDOT number or if it's the MSHA number underneath the Epiroc on the door. I don't remember which number it was. And hopefully the close-ups will tell me which one it is. But yeah, he only needed one number on the entire truck. And so it's the important number. And so he was debating with himself whether or not he should get rid of the numbers he doesn't need. Well, if you don't need them, get rid of them. So anyways, I debated about adding these stars, and I'm so glad I did. They just go really well with everything else in this layout. Now, I don't know why. I love stars more than hearts. I absolutely love stars. But yeah, I definitely am glad that I added them to the layout, because they brought all the elements. They just broadened, the clusters. I really like that. All right, so I got my before and after on. I do have to tell you guys that the word after, the T is an upside down F, because I don't have any more T's in those tile alphas from the Simple Stories wood collection. I just don't have any more. And so I was like, well, that F could work. and it will work. Because I just really, it didn't really matter to me whether or not it was a perfect tea or not. So, and some teas do have that curl at the end, right? Even if it's backwards. All right, the last thing I'm going to do is splatter a little bit of white around all my clusters, and that is it for this layout. I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me for so long. Oh, it looks like I added some Heidi Swap tea in this as well. I did not realize that I did that. I apologize. You guys, I know that this was super long for you guys. I wanted to share this experience with you. This was my very first time playing with this paper. I know now never to heat set it. That's why it warped so bad, because it's almost like working with a piece of plastic. So it warps just like plastic. I do like how my texture paste is still kind of there. It matches with the rest of the layout. Here I'm sharing with you guys how that curl took effect once I added heat to the acetate pieces. So I really am happy with discovering that. Not too happy with the fact that it's still wet. Not too happy with the fact that most of my white texture paste came off. My brown one stayed perfectly fine. It dried, it stayed, it was amazing. But everything else flaked off. But I love it, you guys. I could not have asked for a better experience playing around with these new products. I never played with alcohol inks before. This paper is all brand new to me. I can't wait to play again. In all honesty, I can't wait to play with this again and bring you guys some more videos using alcohol ink. In all honesty, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a new arsenal in my mixed media techniques. So anyways, be sure to check out everyone else that is playing along down below. Memory Keep Art, thank you so much for allowing us to lift you. I enjoyed this so much, and I look forward to lifting you again and again. Your layouts are gorgeous. Anyways, here are 2 other videos for Mixed Media Mayhem if you're interested in going and checking them out. And I will check y'all later. Thank you so much. Bye.